Good night, Bahamas. Coming up in our news tonight, Disney to double the number of cruise ships sailing into Bahamian waters. Plus, all roads lead to Paradise Plates tonight.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Good night, Bahamas. Thanks for joining us for Our News Weekend. I'm Georgia Bain, topping news tonight. We now know why Disney is looking into building another multi-million-dollar port in the Bahamas. Disney Cruise Line execs revealing this week that the Orlando-based company is planning on doubling the number of cruise ships coming into the ports of the Bahamas in the next 5 years. Our Jasmine Brown tells us the details.
The plan was outlined by Disney Cruise Line President Jeff Foley, who explained that the world-renowned company wants the Lighthouse Point property in South Eleuthera in order to increase the number of ports in conjunction with its hike in cruises.
So over the next 5 years, we're looking to double the capacity of Disney Cruise Line. And so we'll be adding 3 new ships coming in 2021, 22, and 23. And with that, we were looking for another unique experience for our guests to emulate the strong success that we've had off Castaway Cay. So with that, we found Eleuthera and Lighthouse Point in Eleuthera.
Foley further explained that the Bahamas is Disney's strongest market, with its Castaway Cay getting top marks in surveys above all other Disney destinations. He added that 75% of its cruises call on Bahamian ports.
Our guest rate is higher than any experience that we have around the world.
The top executives from Disney Cruise Line spent this past week making their case for the purchase of Lighthouse Point, Eleuthera, and development of a cruise port. The project, which has been the source of much controversy in recent weeks, is pegged to cost an estimated $400 million.
We think we have a great project and a great proposal for that. Our proposal is environmentally focused and is focused on sustaining that beauty and the splendor that drew us to Lighthouse Point in the first place.
But Disney's proposal to develop Lighthouse Point has faced strong objections from environmentalists and nonprofit organizations, including the Bahamas National Trust and Re-Earth. The One Eleuthera Foundation has also voiced objections and proposed their own plans for the site. Meantime, Disney's plan for Lighthouse Point has undergone several changes, partly at the behest of government and the request of some Eleutherans. The latest design allows for access to property for Bahamians. In addition, the area encompassing the old lighthouse and a number of small islands will be protected by Disney and will be off limits to its cruise passengers. Disney Cruise Line has already completed a deal for the purchase of the land and is waiting on the Bahamas Investment Authority to approve or deny the project. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
In tonight's crime report, police investigate a stabbing incident on the island of Eleuthera. Police in Eleuthera are seeking the public's help with any information that can assist with solving a stabbing incident that occurred on Friday. According to police reports, shortly before 12 a.m., a male was on a basketball court in the settlement of Tappan Bay when a male known to him approached him. They got into a verbal altercation. The male produced an object and stabbed the male several times about the body. He was airlifted to New Providence and is listed in serious condition. Police also need your help solving a shooting incident here in New Providence. Police here in the capital are investigating an overnight shooting incident. According to reports, shortly before 2 a.m., a man was being dropped off at his residence in Sunset Park when a silver Toyota Passo pulled up and the occupants opened fire. That victim is now in hospital in serious condition. Police also need your help with a stabbing incident here in the capital. According to reports, shortly after 3 a.m., a male was at his residence on Palmetto Street when he was attacked and stabbed about the body. He is currently in hospital and listed in serious condition. Anyone with information is asked to contact police at 328-TIPS or at 919. Well, former PLP Member of Parliament for Fort Charlotte, Earl Thompson Sr., died earlier this week. The 84-year-old spent one term in the House of Assembly before joining the Free National Movement in 1980. His son, Earl Thompson Jr., says the opportunity to become a Member of Parliament for the PLP came at a time which resulted in a historical split in the party.
My father was the PLP Member of Parliament from 1972 to 77. If you remember the history of the Bahamas, the Dissident Eight had formed, and they formed the PLP, and Dr. Curtis Macmillan at the time was the Member of Parliament for Fort Charlotte. So my dad was the PLP standard bearer in 72, and he held Fort Charlotte for 5 years. And he also was the first chairman of the National Insurance Board. So we like to tell people that he brought national insurance to the Bahamas.
Thompson Sr. would part ways with the party several years later. His son admits that he had a tumultuous political career from that point on.
He's had a good political year, and in some instances a bad political. It's the way that nature of our politics in the Bahamas works. He was a PLP. He had differences with Sir Lyndon at the time and decided that he would no longer want to be a PLP. And then a few years later, he had joined the FNM and became a executive as the vice chairman of the FNM, and was very active in Fox Hill for Jacinta Higgs' election, and very active in Fort Charlotte with Chivago Lang and Mark Yunes.
Thompson's career highlights include 25 years at the Nassau Beach Hotel and 10 years in insurance. He was appointed general manager of the Paradise Island Bridge Authority in 1995 and held that position for 7 years. On a more personal note, Thompson's daughters Jacinta and Marcy reflected on his sense of humor.
There was absolutely no way you miss Mass growing up in his house. And so no matter where you went, you found your way in church on Sunday, and you would make up for sleep afterwards. He attended midday Mass almost every day. He participated in the Mass. If you had to take him to Mass, you attended Mass with him. And he made sure that even whether he was late or not, he was at Mass every Sunday. He was an usher. At some point, he sang in the choir. At some point, he performed solos at some point, but he participated in any way that he could.
Well, the cost of living continues to rise for Bahamians. According to the most recent quarterly economic review released by the Central Bank of the Bahamas, it showed a 1.2% increase in the average retail price index, surpassing the modest 0.5% increase for the same period in 2017. This data reflects the period right before the increase in value-added tax, which was implemented on July 1st. Due to the rising oil prices globally, the cost of electricity increased 2%, while the average cost of gasoline and diesel fuel increased by 8.5% and 12.7% respectively. Well, Alive celebrating the launch of a new Samsung S9 Note. The product launch even bringing in town some executives from the tech giant. Alive store manager Roberto DeVoe.
The memory is at 128 gigabytes, and it has expandable memory up to 512.
Now, the phone has a few features Android users may have grown to love about Samsung, and then some.
The stylus pen will now become your selfie stick, so you could actually set up, you could take pictures. It's a cool new feature, what's part of the new Note. Another key feature is the size of the screen. It's a bigger screen. The megapixels are even better, whereas you could they actually recommend it for gaming. So if you're a PUBG fan, Fortnite will be ideal also for that.
So here's how you can get your hand on one.
So the retail price right now for the brand new Samsung Note 9 is $1,049 inside the store. It'll come with the phone, it'll come with a case. If you're not a live customer, it'll come with a SIM card also. It'll also come with a plan, so you don't want to leave you out. We want you to experience our 4G network, and we want you to experience the phone to its full potential.
Well, still to come in our news, the Family Islands see a boost in tourist arrivals, plus how a product from the inner city is hoping to inspire Bahamian youths. That's coming up when we return from the break.